Hello, women of the channel. I'm Jackie Rives, your community leader, and welcome to another Woman of the Week. This week, I'm very excited to get to know Kimberly Hawkins, Director, Global Partner Management, Cognizant with Pegasystems. Hi, Kimberly. Thank you for joining me today.
Well, hello, and thank you for having me. I've been really excited about our conversation today. So thank you.
Yes, me too. So let's dive into those icebreaker questions because they're always
Okay.
like a fun way to kind of dip our toes in the conversation. So, where do
Get
you
to know
live
each
and where
other.
did you grow up if that's different? Yeah.
Yeah. I was born outside Chicago or in Chicago. And that's because my parents' love story started in Chicago in a snowball fight. But I only lived there, I was three, and my parents decided they were tired of cold weather and we were going to move west. So where I grew up was actually in Los Angeles, a community in Los Angeles, California. So that was lots of fun. But for about half my life, I've lived in a seaside community in Orange County. So I live between, halfway between Los Angeles and San Diego and near the water. So this is where I call home.
Lovely area too. Definitely Chicago to California, big difference. And I
Yeah.
don't blame them.
They're tired of the cold
What is
weather.
a, yes. What is a little known or fun fact about you that you're willing to share with all of us?
Now, I was trying to think of something that might be of interest to your viewers or the people that see this video. Many people know that I'm involved in a lot of philanthropic work and different organizations in my community that are meaningful. But I think something that people don't know is about 20 years ago when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, I had an opportunity to go with my church and go volunteer like boots on the ground. And so went down there for a week. We slept in a church that had been flooded, but we were really there to serve the people. So day in and day out, we're handing out medication, we're handing out food, whatever resources they needed.
Mm.
And a lot of that time was really just sitting there listening and talking to people that had been impacted. And it was such a heartwarming, humbling experience to be able to take, passion for giving back and actually be boots on the ground helping the people.
Yes, that's an amazing story. I can't even imagine what it was like to be boots on the ground, as you put it. Wow. Like that's just taking the impact to another level when you
Yeah.
are there in person and seeing all that. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Life
All
changing.
right. Yeah, I can't even imagine. We're going to change gears
Mhm.
and talk about your professional life a little bit.
Okay.
So, my question to you is what drives you to continue reaching new goals in your career, even when you're faced with setbacks and distractions?
That's a great question. For me, it really starts with having a purpose and being
Mm.
passionate about what you do. And I'm certainly purposeful and passionate in my role about building and investing and leveraging partnerships so that all parties involved we create an impact for. And so in my role, that's creating an impact for my teams and my company at Pega, our partner at Cognizant, and for our clients. And you talk about setbacks and challenges and tough times, they always happen. This is kind of like the game in life. But when they do happen, I like to pause and remind myself to pause to think about, what is there to learn from this? How can I grow? What new muscles am I going to strengthen from this challenge or setback? And when you have a growth mindset like that, you actually see these hurdles that come up in life as really stepping stones, as an opportunity to become a
Mm.
better, stronger version of myself. And I think everybody benefits when I become a better, stronger version of myself. And life is that much more beautiful. So I like to take that approach. And another thing I look at, and many of my colleagues and friends and families will hear me say, I'm like, oh my gosh, when things get tough, that means there's something really good around the corner because life
Mm.
is really made up of peaks and valleys. And my father has taught me that since I was younger. So when we have these valleys, it's not a time to run away or shy away from them. It's really dig in and charge to them because there's a peak on the other side. So there's always goodness on the other side of the valleys. So let's keep pressing forward and get to the other side, and then we can celebrate. So that keeps me going. And these things keep me going, even in the time that might be a setback, as you say, or different challenges or hurdles. As long as we're moving in an upward forward motion, life is pretty good.
I love
Yeah.
your outlook and that positivity that you're kind of flipping that narrative and what that is going to do for your future. That's amazing. I love it. I know that will resonate with people.
I don't know if I adopted this as like survival mechanisms, but it really does keep me going. So hopefully it helps others.
Yeah, no, I could see that. Kimberly, many people only focus on metrics and KPIs, but you stand out by also having a keen focus on people and relationships too.
Mhm.
So, walk us through how you would approach building trust across organizational boundaries when you're bringing together teams from different companies who might have competing priorities.
Another good question. Trust and collaboration are really the foundation for every, successful partnership or even relationship. And what I found is, when people feel respected, you can actually get to trust
Mm,
and collaboration so much faster. And I've also found that when people feel heard and understood, there's a much more willingness to trust and work together than if we don't get to that point. So if we're only focusing on metrics and KPIs, we're completely missing the human element. So, whether it's teams that are just internally at my company, because I work with a vast number of teams, or teams outside the company, like with our partner Cognizant or with the client, I really lean in to focus on trying to understand what's important to them, whether it's their values, their priorities, their objectives, even their frustrations. Because when you can pause and seek to understand them and have them feel heard, it opens up the pathway to a much stronger partnership that we can move faster and accelerate motion. When there's different stakeholders, and in these situations, there's stakeholders representing different teams, different priorities. When people feel that they've been heard, understood, they feel like you're in their court, even if there's, in some of the tricky situations. So I really work to get to that point so that we can collaborate and move faster, better together. Because that's really the beauty of a partnership is working together rather than our own siloed lanes, so everybody can win a lot faster.
this is so good. I love this. This is such an important conversation. I love that you've brought in one of the things I like to say is communications is probably 90% of our barriers or problems or challenges
Hmm.
and can be resolved that way in your people first approach of kind of uncovering that and not focusing so much on the metrics, which are very black and white, is so good.
Oh, good.
Yes, this is such a good conversation. All right. I want to close this out with one more question. And that is, how do you maintain focus on what truly matters? We're all being surrounded by a lot of noise, competing priorities
Mhm.
in both our work and personal lives. So I'm curious how you maintain focus on what truly matters to you.
Focus is a big, big, valuable word, right? And in order to stay focused, I know for me, it takes a lot of discipline. And I know
Hmm.
talking about prioritizing and scheduling is not new to anybody. I mean, we're all told to prioritize and schedule, but many times I have to pause. It's like, okay, what is the task at hand that's going to move the needle? And I need to prioritize and schedule that. It doesn't mean ignore other new activities or new requirements or to dos do pop up, even though they weren't part of the original plan or the additional or
Hmm.
original set of priorities. But what's going to move the needle now? And then fill in around that with the other activities and requirements that come up and the different noise, and just really stay focused on moving that needle.
I love that you said, even like as competing things come in or things that pop up and just kind of stepping back and saying, like you said, what's going to move the needle? Like what is this thing? Like not just taking it. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm a tornado of tasks and in that rush, 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 and just taking a pause and just asking, is that going to help accomplish what we're trying to accomplish right now? Kimberly, it was such a pleasure getting to talk
Um,
to you today and getting to know you a little bit. I can't wait to learn more. But alas, this time goes by so fast, almost too
yeah.
fast sometimes. So thank you so much for allowing us to celebrate you as our Woman of the Week.
Well, thank you. And thanks for having me. I loved being here.
Yes. All right. Community members, please comment below. Definitely give Kimberly your insights and congratulations on her being our Woman of the Week. And until next time, have an amazing week.
Yeah. Thank you.